Well, good afternoon, everyone. A long time no see. Rod Culleton, Great Australian Party. I just wanted to do this short video and give everyone an update. I've sort of been off the scene, taking a well-earned rest, I must say, and certainly keeping my eye on the election. And to be honest, there's no mistake, the freedom parties, or certainly a lot of the minor parties, didn't fare too well. And there's a lot of talk around the issues that surrounded this so-called election. But what I wanted to let the people know, my circumstances, as everyone knows, is very different. And that is, at Great Australian Party, we have always taken a different approach, and we've always taken, I believe, the right road to get remedy, and putting all the genuine steps in what we're doing, publicly coming out and talking, going to Canberra, addressing all Australians, and certainly keeping our constitution out in front at all times, because after all, that is what forms a government. So let me tell you what's happened. I just need my glasses, because I turned a year older just the other day on the 5th of June. But anyway, so I'll probably need a magnifying glass before long if things don't get better. But anyway, I want to let everyone know that on the 9th of June, I conditionally attended an interview with the police over the Australian Electoral Commission referral. This is their second referral to have a go at me over Section 44 of the Constitution. But this time it was a bit different, because the first time in 2019, as much as I wanted to have an interview and expose what I had uncovered in Parliament, the police declined to call me in, as much as I wanted to basically keep knocking on the door. But this time it was different, and I have to Kevin Lawmans was the sergeant, and apologies, I can't remember the female, but the two sergeants. But what's really interesting is that on the 26th of May, I did a live stream with Maria Z. Now, I understand that has gone over to America. And just the other day, the Australian Associated Press had a real shot at me over to do with the election writ. Now, everyone knows that proroguing a parliament, or, passing an act or whatever, are what they call specialty instruments. And those specialty instruments must contain the authority. I do not accept, certainly my manuals in Parliament do not give any waiver to have the Great Seal of the Commonwealth front and centre on an election writ. Because if you don't have that, where does the authority, or what empowers it? But they claim to say, well, it just needs the GG's, signature and some other guy's signature and whatever. But if you go back through time, which I could show you, which is going to go up on the internet, it says clearly that it must contain the Great Seal. In actual fact, I have a court I'll bring that up on the internet as well, but I have the book that was used in my High Court case, and I have a copy of the writ when I was elected as a senator in 2016. I was listed as number 11, and that writ contained the Great Seal of Western Australia. So, if you go through, I think the Electoral Commission, look, I'm at war with the Electoral Commission. There is no question about that. I am seriously at war with them. And I've also completed my complaint. Quite to the contrary, what they were doing to me, I am now formalising a complaint with the attached documents so that the Australian people can see what the law, I make no claim, it is what the law claims to make. But look, let me just, I I need to take you on a bit of a wander here because, as you know, I'm not tech savvy, but let me just take you with me for a minute without upsetting Benny there, and let's just take you down to give you a bit of a shot at what I achieved the other day. And here it is. Hello, there I am again. So, what I achieved the other day was to record myself in the interview, which went for 1 hour, 47 minutes, to whereby the police have all been put on notice of what I and my advisors spotted in Parliament. So let's give you a little bit of a taste of this.
I can cut to the chase and it'll all be contained in 5 minutes, right? And that term of reference...
What I'm saying is, for us, we're just a couple of police officers in the AFP. We can't
be like that, Catty.
No, but what I'm saying is...
Well, I'm just a senator and I'm not prepared to look at the law. I've got to apply the law here. My bum's on the chopping book, you know.
I do understand that, but we work under that current legislation,
and that's the whole point.
I understand that that's the argument that you guys are having, but it's not an argument for us to be able to take on.
This is the first step that we have to do.
This is preliminary housekeeping, and what I was trying to explain to you is so that you have a clear picture of what the housekeeping is about. Mm-hmm. So that when we say Commonwealth and when we say Australian, you have a clear understanding of the disparity between the two. Because our claim of out of the paperwork from the government and from the Constitutional Court, what they are saying is that they are not operating under the Commonwealth Constitution. They're operating under a set of parameters that have departed from it, and it's detailed in the 2000 report. Now, what Gofford and Dunn did, just in a simplistic manner, was remove the Commonwealth and superimpose the authority of the Australian government in place of the people's authority. And then they put all the machinery around that to advance that purpose. But that's not recognised by the Constitution. They've departed from the Constitution by promoting an Australian jurisdiction in contradistinction to a Commonwealth jurisdiction that the Constitution recognises. So the government, and from then and onwards, have been pretending the Commonwealth jurisdiction, and we say that if you operate under the Criminal Code of 1995, which came to power at that time, and the bill was given assent under the Queen of Australia, and the seal was the Great Seal of Australia, then it doesn't meet the constitutional requirement to be Commonwealth, because you need the Queen of the United Kingdom, as per Clause 2 of the Foundation Act, and you need the seal of the Commonwealth to reflect the authority of the Commonwealth, which they removed and destroyed in 1973, and brought out a new seal, right, under the warrant of the Australian government and the Queen of Australia to give the authority to pass bills. So that's not a constitutional jurisdiction. This is the switch of jurisdiction that happened in 1973, which people don't know about because it's never been announced to the public that we've removed your authority and now we're superimposing government authority, which is different. And we can't call it Commonwealth, we call it Australian government. On letterheads where there used to be the Commonwealth of Australia, and then you put the department, they now remove the Commonwealth of Australia and put Australian government. It's been a switch in plain sight, and lawyers struggle to understand what does that mean. But if you don't give assent to the Bills of Parliament under Section 58 of the Constitution,
Which was My job, yes.
If you don't give a cent, then the bills haven't passed through the House and gone to the Governor to receive the Queen's assent to become law. If it doesn't fulfil Section 58, you can't make Commonwealth law. What they're doing is we're saying, oh, we're doing it under the Queen of Australia with the seal of Australia for the jurisdiction of Australia, so we can't claim it's Commonwealth law. And that's a departure. Now, why that matters is that the Crimes Act 1914 has it.
13.
14.
1913 Crimes Act.
1914.
14
Yeah.
No, the criminal code is
Criminal Act
1913.
Yeah, criminal.
Okay, so the police are of knowledge of this now, and it's interesting because now it's been opened up for debate. Because take you to this one now. Just bear with me. Here we go. We're going around again. Okay, so here we go. Now I haven't. So here we go. There's our so-called two fellows, and it says the claim. Came out. You can look it up. Go Rod Culleton and go to news. It says the claim is that Mr. Hurley Wright incorrectly issued the writs for the election image by Lucas Koch or whatever his name is, AAP, and it says election writs claim fails to gain seal of approval. Well, come on, Australia. Do you accept a writ without the seal? Because I certainly don't, and the law doesn't either. And just to make things even more simpler, and I know this is pretty basic, and I forgot my microphone, but anyway, hopefully you can still hear me. Let's take you to the court book that was used in my matter in the Court of Disputed Returns in C15 2016, and you really need to have a look at this. I need an extra pair of hands, but let's take you to what actually happened. There you go. Wow. Let's go here. Well, bugger me. Here is the Constitution of the Commonwealth, Electoral Commission Act 1918, writ for the election of senators for Western Australia. And we come down here. What's that? That is the Great Seal of Western Australia. And they're telling me, so here it is, it says, I command you to cause election to be made according to the law of 12 senators for the state of Western Australia to serve in the Senate of the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia. This is my whole point, not the Australian government. And then it goes on and says, there you go, I'm number 11, Rodney Norman Culleton. Here's all the ones back in 2016, in accordance with paragraph 23(1)(b) of the Commonwealth Electoral Act 1918, that following the candidates have been duly elected in the order. Well, that's right, duly, because look at that. So the point is, the House of Reps, with what the AEC has done, has to show, I believe, well certainly law says that it has to show the authority of the people. It is a constitutional command. So I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of a taste of what we've done with the police. The police are certainly on notice now. They've taken, they have a copy of my complaint. As I said in Maria Z's interview, I will put it up on Great Australian Party website. This is the complaint against this election, and the professors who claim to be the experts keep talking about the Australian Constitution. We have a constitution in Australia, and we don't have an Australian Constitution. We have a Commonwealth of Australia Constitution, and we must refer to that. And this is my whole point. Now, if people choose to not agree with what I'm saying, that's fine. But I was a federal senator, and I went to Parliament and I spotted all of this. So I want the Australian people, whether you like Rod Culleton or whether you like, marshmallows toasted on a fire, or you like chocolate pudding with hazelnuts, I don't really, that's okay, but take me what I'm saying. Thousands of people elected me to the Senate in 2016. I went there under my constitutional duties to uphold the law. And this is what I've done. So I'm asking everyone out there, if you want your Commonwealth back, support and sponsor my complaint to the police, because I'm also going to put, I said to the police the other day, are you recording me? They said yes. I said, okay, you're recording me, so I get a copy of that recording. They said, no, you'll get a copy of the transcript. I said, okay, so you consent to this all being recorded, this interview? They said, yes. I said, good. I'm pulling out my iPhone. They said, what for? I said, I'm going to record it myself. I want to record me because you've just all consented. So they couldn't stop me from recording. And you can see there with that little snippet, I put some really good stuff there. It's all on the table with the police. This is now in the court of the police. Now, these police, at some stage during the interview, weren't sure whether they were supposed to be Australian Federal Police or whether they should be Commonwealth Federal Police. And they weren't sure that the complaint was lawful and proper from the Australian Electoral Commission, because they believe it, if you go back before 1973, it was referred to as a different beast. So they have all the information. I then, after the interview, said, well, I have a right in the interest of the public, because this has been referred to by the Australian Electoral Commission, in the interest of the public, that all the documents and this interview be made available to the Australian public. Do you have any objections to that? They said no. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to contact my web developer tomorrow, Miles Larden, who's an executive for Great Australian Party. I have taken time to recoup, because I did a lot of miles on the road, and needed to, just have some good times. Well, not good times, but some good R&R. But I'm going to now come and finish this off, because I know we can win it from here. I'm not going to keep talking about it and blowing hot air and spending money and not addressing the real issue. Like I said, Great Australian Party is about remedy. I believe there's a lot of changes that has to happen, but unless we get back under our Commonwealth, what's the point? Because if you notice, they're heading very quickly for a republic, but what the Australian people, look, well, a lot of people do know that have been following me, we've already been in a republic since 1973. And this is why, now that we've served the Governor-General, well, we say the pretending Governor-General, he has refused to pick up his registered mail. I mean, what does this say? The guy's a public servant, they're all public servants, and no one's above the law. So I'm letting you know that we have put this in the hands of the police through the help of the Australian Electoral Commission, and I commend the Australian Electoral Commission, Andrew Johnson, for making the referral to the Australian Federal Police, so then I could again give them all the documentation, which you can see what was compiled. So I'm asking, in the best interest of our country, so that we don't lose our freedoms and rights, that we bring back the true parties, I guess, if that's what you mean, the majors, what they used to be, the pedigree, how they used to be, because Labor is certainly not Labor, Liberals are certainly not Liberal, and I certainly, as a farmer, Nationals certainly aren't Nationals. And like I always say, all these national leaders wouldn't know which end of a sheep ate grass. That's how well they go. But we need to come back to our rightful law that's under our Commonwealth, what was granted to us at Federation, and deal with the matters at hand. We have a duty to ourselves, we have a duty to our servicemen and women who shedded more than just hardship. They shedded a lot more for the rights and freedoms of this country. And while I'm here with the knowledge that I've got, I will not let them down, because they sacrifice so much. They're such beautiful people and very brave Australians. And if we can all find a spine like they did, we will certainly hang on to this great country we've taken too much for granted. And we must also do it for our future children and all the pioneers of this great land. So let's hold up what was granted to us at Federation, and that is the Constitution Act, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900, non-Australian Constitution. Have a look at all the supporting documentations that will support, and you can also attach that to your sponsorship of the complaint that needs to go into the police based on the evidence that they already have, where this departure under this Australian government and where we should be under a Commonwealth Parliament of Australia. I'm going to make it a decent page on the website. Give me time tomorrow, but I urge you all, if you want your country back and you want to stop this nonsense and all the grief that's happening around our great country, I suggest you read the complaint, you read all the supporting documents that are there with the complaint, have a look at where the Australian Electoral Commission, Andrew Johnson, confirmed we were having a lawful Commonwealth election, where he's put that in writing, where the Australian Government Solicitor has claimed that the Australian Electoral Commission is a Commonwealth entity. That's a good one, that one. So we've got the adversary right there, the presumptions on the table, and we ask the Australian people to just, come on, show a bit of leadership. It's not all about the people that want to go and run for Parliament. It's about their constituents and all Australians coming together, because we are one. So what I want you to do is to consider the document. I'm not forcing you to do it, but if you want your country back and you ever want to question the good work of Rod Culleton and his great team, this is the prize that everyone has been waiting for. And this is what I have been so anxious for a long time to inform everyone, because I'm always like to let things go early because I get that excited, but I've been told to be tight-lipped about this, and this now has gone into the complaint. It has now gone into the hands of the police, that, like I said, is all part of the process that we need to do to get back this great country, because I tell you what, trying to start a politician's like trying to start a Ferrari with no fuel, or certainly, trying to start a bloody grader with flat tyres. It is just hopeless. These guys just will not act because they can't act, because they're not sitting under Commonwealth law. And that is what Labor has done to our great nation. Liberal took the baton and ran with it, and that's a fact. And like I say, I don't make that claim. This was all the law that was provided to me while I was a senator. So start taking heed of what a senator must do. And what I did is I went in there to get your rights and freedoms back, and here it is. So I encourage you all to go to greataustralianparty.com.au. It will be up there with all the supporting documents and email, totally transparent, and the video as well. We'll probably do snippets of the video, but we'll do the long version, but do the ones that you need to know. The police are on notice now that our great seal of our Commonwealth has been defaced and destroyed without the referendum or the authority or the knowledge of the Australian people. God bless, and nice to be back. I hope I wasn't too rusty. This is the first one I've done since I've been away, but I really needed the rest, and I really needed to make sure that this shot, I had to squeeze the trigger very slowly, very precise, because now it's game on. Thank you very much, and I really hope to see the support of the Australian people. And this will be a good test, because if the Australian people don't act on this one, well, perhaps we need to start looking elsewhere. See you later. Bye for now.